as always, I invite you to find your spot to get yourself settled in for the opening centering. You could sit on a chair, you could sit on the ground, you could lie down, of course. So whatever suits you in this moment. You know, and as always, maybe make your decisions based on what feels right for you right now and right here, rather than on what you do out of habit. That's kind of part of what the yoga is all about, right? Is to notice when we move or do things just strictly out of habit, but not necessarily out of what serves in the moment. So be very discerning as you settle yourself in to do that based on what is present for you right here, right now. And invite yourself to arrive in this moment, in this space, and in this beautiful shared community that comes together every week for the practice of yoga. And so as you settle yourself into your body, make discerning choices about how you might like to place your eyelids, how you might like to place your hands. By now you know all of the options, and there may be more, so you could invent something new in this moment. And meet your body however it shows up today. Allowing sensations from your physical being simply to come to you. There's no need to go looking for something, and definitely no need to create anything. Just notice what is already present in your body. You could even be a bit systematic about this today and scan through your body, maybe starting from your toes, gently sweeping your attention upward through the legs. Just noticing what is present, not expecting anything, and also not rejecting anything that shows up. The pleasant, the unpleasant, the neutral. As you perhaps sweep your attention further upward through the legs, into the hips. Maybe through the lower abdomen, front, back, and sides. The low back, the low side body. Sensing the body from the inside out. Just meeting whatever sensation, whatever experience is present. No expectations, no judgment, just an open heart and an open mind about whatever sensations are present in your body. And if you are scanning from bottom to top, maybe by now you're scanning into the mid-region of the torso, the abdomen, the mid-back, the side waist, inside and out, just noticing what is present. Meeting sensation with an open heart and a gentle mind. Sweeping upward, perhaps into the upper torso. The upper back, the chest, the heart, the lungs, inside and out. What is present in this section of your body? And perhaps sweeping into the shoulders on both sides, down your arms, through the elbows, through the forearms, all the way into your fingertips. Just noticing what's present. Gently drawing the attention upward through the arms to the neck, the throat, inside and out. Perhaps across the back of the head, across the scalp, to your face, and to the center of your head. And don't overthink this. Just let yourself sense into the entirety of your head from the inside out. Meeting your body in a very deliberate way today, without creating anything, without expecting anything, simply being open about what is already there. Paying attention may reveal some things that you didn't know were there, but that doesn't mean that your attention created them. It just allowed you to notice them. And then perhaps notice how the breath is moving with your body. Perhaps you notice breath traveling in through the nose, through the throat, into your lungs. Or perhaps you feel the in-breath more as the gentle descend of your diaphragm toward the lower abdomen, or as the movement, the gentle movement outward and upward of the low ribs, feeling the inhalation as a slight expansion through the entire mid-region of your torso. And perhaps the exhalation brings a sensation of that mid-region of the body gently drawing downward and inward through the low ribs. A very gentle return of the diaphragm toward the lungs. And maybe you sense the breath in the body as breath traveling out through the airways, through the nose. So that new, fresh air can travel in. Just let yourself sense into where you feel your breath in your body most tangibly. Maybe it's in all places at once. And maybe for some of you it's the nose or the throat or the abdomen or the side waist or the low ribs. Can you meet that rhythm of your breath in your body with that same open heart and gentle mind with which you already met your physical sensation? Can you notice whether you are breathing consistently through the nose, or if you have a tendency to breathe through the mouth? In this moment, just notice. And then gently begin to pay attention to how your mind is joining body and breath. As you're bringing that same open-hearted, gentle-minded curiosity to the mind state you're bringing this morning. Again, not creating or expecting anything, just sensing into the state of your mind. Is there distraction? Is there a sluggish mind? Is there chaos? Just notice. And perhaps also notice the content. If that's what comes to you in this moment, as you become curious about how your mind coexists in this moment with your breath and your body. Allowing thoughts and feelings in the mind to arise in the same way that you allowed sensation invitation to simply meet you in your body, and how you allowed yourself to simply notice the breath. And holding body, breath, and mind in gentle awareness, perhaps draw your attention now to this capacity you have to simply observe the unfolding within you of physical sensations, of breath, of thoughts, of feelings. Maybe marveling in your own deeper intelligence that can pay focused attention in a gentle and open-hearted way. Perhaps deeply appreciating that at your heart you can be compassionate and loving with whatever shows up in body, breath, and mind. And perhaps appreciating that when you can become compassionate and kind and loving and peaceful with yourself, you also tend to be able to become kinder, more compassionate, and more peaceful with other people. This is our true human nature, sometimes very hidden and sometimes very tangible. When we recognize this deep connection we have to ourselves and others, we begin to nourish and water that seed of joy that lives in all of us, the joy, the gratitude for having a human life, for being in community, and for being an important part in a greater web of life. Maybe that joy is palpable for you today. Maybe it's elusive. It doesn't matter. The seed for that joy is within you. And so perhaps from that place of knowing, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. As you bow your head to your heart, to take a moment to notice if there is an intention for your time on the mat today. Some quality you would like to nourish. Not a goal or an outcome that you are striving for, but something intentional that can feed your soul while you're on the mat. And if such an intention arose for you, you might choose to breathe it into your heart with your next breath in. And then you might choose to breathe it silently out into the greater web of life with your next breath out. And whenever you are ready to do so, you can release your hands if they were lifted. You can rise to a seat if you are lying down. You can open your eyes if they were closed. And welcome everyone. So if you are seated on the floor like me with one leg in front of the other, this might be a good time to switch. We're going to stay seated for just a moment longer. If you're on a chair, nothing to do. If you're in a hero seat, nothing to do. So just notice if there needs to be a shift in your body. And then whenever you feel ready to do so, we'll start with a couple of rounds of sun breath. So by now you may know what that means. That means as you inhale, you will allow your shoulders to stay soft, but your arms travel up and overhead to the degree that they can this morning. We may not all have the same range of motion. And with the exhalation, the hands travel down, or rather the arms travel down to your side. And you'll do this with your own breath. You tuned into your breath earlier. So maybe even close your eyes and feel again the inhalation traveling in. As the inhalation travels in, slowly lift the arms, allowing the shoulder girdle to stay relaxed, so not shrugging the arms up around the ears. And as the exhale moves out. Let the arms travel down and maybe find even more ease in the shoulders. And as you do this a couple more times, perhaps you also become aware of the pauses at the top of the breath, arms lifted, or you maybe linger for a moment, and at the bottom of the breath, hands by your side, perhaps resting for a moment. Finish the round you're on and take one more, very attentive, very compassionate, allowing the breath to move you. When your hands have returned toward the earth, and don't rush it, do this in your own way, maybe you choose to bring them to your heart for a moment. The reason for this is that we will take a few rounds of bumblebee breathing, and with your hands at your heart, you might literally feel that vibration in your heart space. And so, but that's not required if it doesn't suit you. So the bumblebee breath is that lovely sound on the exhalation. So use your own breath. Don't try to match my rhythm or any other rhythm. Use your own breath. Maybe take a round of natural breath and then a natural inhalation. And with your next natural inhalation, create that sound of perhaps one more round if it suits you. And then take a moment to observe your breathing yet again. Hands either at the heart or relaxed down to your lap. And notice if there are any reverberations from this gentle, vibrating exhalation. Your bumblebee breath vibrates your vagus nerves as they run down through the sides of the throat. The bumblebee breath creates something called nitric oxide, which is a gas that dilates your airways and your vessels. So it's a beautiful way of finding a state of calm, a state of presence. It's a lovely breath to use anytime you feel perhaps a bit anxious or nervous about something. And it's free and always there for you at any moment in time. All right, from here, if you would like to stay seated on the earth or on a chair, you absolutely can, but you can also come to standing if you would prefer. So yogi's choice. We'll begin to take a few movements related, of course, to the 6 movements of the spine. If you are close to a wall and you would like to do this at a wall, this could actually be a fun experience. So I will show these movements at a wall. If you don't have a wall, you don't need it. It's not essential. But if you do have a wall, you could stand close to the wall. You could even let yourself lean into the wall as you bring your arms out in front of you, and then bend your wrists so that your palms are facing into the room or just straight forward if you're not at a wall. And then imagine that you're pushing away an elephant with your hands. And then as you inhale, draw the shoulder blades onto your back or press the back body and your shoulder blades into the wall. Exhale, push the elephant away from you. Your shoulder blades will move apart and you may feel yourself separating from the wall a little bit. Inhale, draw the arms in, open the front body as the shoulder blades come together. And just do this a few rounds of breath, very intuitively, moving from the inside out. Show this from the side too. And then if you have a wall available to you, you might actually turn yourself around if you're at the wall and then press your hands into the wall. You could do this at a file cabinet, or you can just imagine this if you're seated on a chair or seated on the ground. And then this time, quite literally, press the wall away. And then let your sternum, your breastbone, come closer to the wall and move back and forth like that. You can absolutely make this happen with just that imaginary elephant, but if you have an actual wall that you can press into and then move toward, you may really get a different experience of this gentle mobilization here of the shoulder joints where the arm bone meets your shoulder blade, but also of the shoulder blades on your back. For breath to flow freely, we need a mobile rib basket, and our scapulae, our shoulder blades, need to be able to mobilize nicely. And coincidentally, those kinds of things will also help with posture and with neck issues. So they do triple or quadruple duty. And then at some point you can stop with this movement and bring the arms down to your side and just take a couple of shoulder circles. Maybe noticing if your shoulders are moving as they usually do, or if there's a different sensation here. We could have done a few shoulder circles first so you would have a more tangible comparison, but you might have a sense of how your shoulders usually move. And then, if you are ready to move on, and again you can do this at the wall now or in the middle of the room, we'll start again with the back to the wall, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll turn ourselves around again. And at the wall, make an angel wing, or if you're in the middle of the room, just bring the arms up and overhead like in sun breath. And then imagine that your left hand, your left fingertips are efforting toward the ceiling as you also bring the left hip out to the side a little bit for an opening from the left hip all the way into the left armpit. Now you may need to work with your own body here, and then release. So maybe your arms don't come all the way up and overhead. Maybe your arms aren't all the way at the wall. Maybe they're slightly forward. It's all fine. It's mostly about drawing now the right fingertips toward the sky. As the right hip moves out to the side a tiny bit, for now the opening in the right side body. As you exhale, the arms travel down. And then we'll repeat this one more time on each side. You could, if you want to vary it up a little bit, just lift the left arm and reach the right fingertips to the ground as the left fingertips reach to the sky. With the exhale, the left arm travels down. And with your next inhalation, the other side, right arm travels up. Fingertips reaching to the sky, left fingertips possibly also reaching up or reaching toward the earth. And exhaling when you are ready to do so. And then step away from the wall if you're at the wall and just take a couple shoulder circles and notice if anything is different. You could also swing your hips a little bit side to side. Just reattune to your body, your breath, and your mind. And then we'll do this again, but this time facing the wall. If you are in the middle of the room, you just do the same thing again. If you are at a wall, face the wall. I'll show this maybe from the side. This way. And then this time, let both arms move to the left as the hips move to the right. As you come into a right side stretch here. Maybe you linger here for a breath or two, or maybe you move up and down with the breath a couple of times. Inhaling yourself up if you were still moving to the left, and then waiting patiently for an exhalation to slide now the arms to the right, the hips to the left. Maybe lingering here, or maybe moving up and down with the breath a couple of times. Yogi's choice. With an inhalation, rising up if you haven't already. And then patiently waiting for the exhalation to bring the arms down to your side and come back to the middle of the room. And this time, take a few hula hoops. Maybe the hands come to the hips or to the low back as you just very gently release any tension that may have crept in from those lateral movements, those side bends. From here, you don't have to be at the wall for this next one. In fact, you need to step a slight bit away from the wall. Bring your arms out to the side, and with an exhalation, bring your hands to your shoulders. Just fingers on top of the shoulders, if that works for you. And then let the arms descend to your side. I'm going to show this on my knees, but it's a lot better if you do this standing. And then bring the right elbow forward, up, and back. And let the whole body move along with this. So this is actually a circumduction, as we call it, of the shoulder joint. So you're bringing your arm in a circle around the shoulder joint, but you're also bringing a rotation into the spine. And if you would like, you could trace the movement of your elbow with your eyes, so that then the head moves along as well. And however much movement you want to bring into the body here, it's all wonderful. This is a really, really lovely release. It's almost like a combination of all of the movements of the spine in one. Not quite, not a whole lot, well, a little bit of flexion and extension. So, couple more times, so finish the round you're on, and then take one more round on the right. When the elbow is by your side, linger for a moment, release the arms, maybe shake the arms out, maybe do a couple of hula hoops in one direction and a couple of hula hoops in the other direction. Notice if the mind is jumping ahead to the other side. We will get there. Let the body and the breath settle before you do that. And then whenever you feel truly ready in your breath, in your body, then you can inhale the arms up. Exhale, the hands to the shoulders. Let the arms descend as well, and then do the other side. So left elbow forward, up and back, allowing the body to come along for this beautiful circle in the shoulder joint, and a lovely rotation in along the length of the spine, especially if you trace your elbow with your eyes. It's a great way to wake up the spine. The more you sort of let the body come into this movement, the more of your vertebrae get involved. Finish the round that you're on, and then take one more circle on this side. And then release your arms, maybe shake it out, maybe hula hoop it out, whatever feels good for you. You could even lean yourself forward into your halfway lift and let the arms shake from here, just lightly, and let the head simply hang. So don't shake your neck necessarily, and certainly don't do it vigorously. Maybe some gentle nodding, yes and no. Just to feel a bit of the weight of the head moving toward the earth. This is actually a really nice release for the neck. You could even take a moment, if you are interested in this, to bring the hands very gently to the base of the skull and let the weight of the hands add to the weight of the head. If this doesn't serve you, this is quite a forward shape, then don't. Just keep wiggling or moving or hula hooping. And if you are doing this forward fold, then gently begin to release the hands from the head. Tuck your chin slightly in and draw the head in line with the spine again, so that you're once again in the halfway lift, now with the spine in its natural curve, so the head's no longer hanging freely. Now you're in this position that's part of our sun salute from a couple of months ago. And when you are ready with an inhalation, you can either bring the hands to your back and roll up, or lift up, or you can swan dive the arms outward and all the way up to standing. And then the hands can travel back to your side. So that's a really lovely neck release. And that gets us ready for a little bit of deliberate work with the neck. If you have a stretchy band, it'll come in handy. If you don't have a stretchy band, you can do the same thing with just your hands. If you do have a stretchy band, this is, I'll show this here. You would bring it to the back of the head. Basically at the base of the skull. So if you use your hands and not a stretchy band, you would interlace your fingers and you would bring the hands to the base of the skull, and the elbows will come forward like this. The skull presses into the hands press into the skull. If you have the stretchy band, then you bring that to the base of the skull, and the hands are now out in front of you like this, and the hands pull on the band while the head presses into the band. On the outside, you see nothing. It looks like you're not doing anything. On the inside, there's a lot of isometric engagement. And then loosen that very gently. So don't ever just snap the band loose. And take a moment to check in with your neck. We are working with the very, very deep neck muscles with this movement. So don't hold long. If I hold too long, always feel free to let go of this stretchy band. Just do it nice and slow. Never snap it loose. We're going to do it 3 times. So that's our second time now. Band around the base of the neck, arms in front, and then the hands pull on the band, but the head really presses back into the band. Your chin is slightly tucked, that same movement we always make. Tucked and drawing the ears back, but this time against resistance. And then whenever you feel ready to do so, very slowly begin to lower that resistance between the head and the band. Take a moment just to rest, just to sense into the neck. And then if you would like, you can do a 3rd time, but you can skip it if you want. Don't forget to tuck that chin as you draw very slightly, like don't hyper-compress the front of the throat. There's a slight tuck to the chin as you draw the head back. And then whenever you feel ready, you can begin to lessen that resistance between the head and the band by gently bringing the hands closer and closer to the head. And then you can, static electricity, you can bring the band away from your head. And then from here, and I might have to show this from the side, so I'm going to move back a little bit. We'll move into quite a few little therapeutic neck movements, since that was a special request last week. The first one we will do, we will come from that well-aligned position. So this is why we did the band first, to sort of get the head as much into its natural position above the spine as possible. So that slight chin tuck stays there. The head right now, while you're just seated, has that slight sense of the ears moving toward the back plane of the body. But then what we will do from this position, the jaw will stay parallel to the ground, but the neck will move forward. And then the head will really draw back past that neutral position. And so for a few moments, you will take these neck slides or jaw slides, whatever you want to call them, forward and back. So we're really trying to mobilize a lot of the little muscles in the neck that get kind of frozen in place because of the way we tend to carry our head very statically during the course of the day. You get to determine your own range of motion that feels safe here, but the idea is to keep the head horizontal as you slide it forward and back. Finish the round you're on, take one more forward and back, and then find your middle position where you started, where you have your slight tuck and the head feels centered on top of the spine. I feel like you can't really see me all that well, but hopefully you can see it enough. So, all right. So that's a great one that you can do pretty much almost anywhere, anytime, right? You could do this very easily. A few more rounds right now just while I'm chattering. So whatever, this is a great way of just releasing the neck forward and back a tiny bit, okay? Now, the next movement we will make will involve the left, we'll start on the left side, the left ear, and before you do it, just listen to the whole instructions and maybe even watch. The left ear will move toward the sky as you look upward left. So the movement is like that. Normally or often we cue this as dropping the left ear toward the right ear toward the right shoulder, but you get a slightly different motion if you focus more on pulling the left ear toward the sky and looking up to the left at the same time. And so just do that a few times. You can coordinate with the breath or not. But each time in between, come back to your neutral position. So that tuck and drawing the head on top of the spine. And then from that base position, then think again about looking up to the left as you draw the left ear toward the ceiling. Finish the round you're on and then just take one more. Always resetting in between, looking up to the left and letting the left ear follow your gaze up toward the ceiling, the sky, whatever you have above you. Take a moment to reset, and then we'll do the other side. So you can start whenever you are ready. Just make sure you come from that tucked, drawn back position. And now the eyes will gaze up toward the right, and then the right ear follows the gaze. Just brings a little bit of cohesiveness to the movement when you let the movement follow the eyes. You might notice that your eyes often direct movement. If you think about picking something up, you usually look at it first and then you move toward it rather than the other way around. And so we can use that same principle here, where we allow the eyes to lead the way for the neck movement. And notice if you are scrunching in your shoulders or bracing in your shoulders, and let ease come into the shoulder girdle. The movement is really in the neck, and it's not going to get any easier if you are bracing or gripping in the shoulders or your jaws. So try to stay as relaxed in any of the places that don't have to move, and then come to one last time, unless you want to quit. That's fine too. And then let yourself just soak that in a little bit, sensing into the neck, sensing into the reverberations, maybe into the shoulders, maybe into the jaws. Notice if you're clenching or gripping anywhere, and see if you can bring that easeful presence there, locating tension, exploring it, tending to it, and then just letting be. And then from your natural chin tuck, drawn back position, very gently turn the head to the left. And then forward and then to the right. In your own rhythm, maybe you use the breath. Maybe you inhale the head forward and exhale it to the side for just a few rounds of rotations here. Making sure you come from that centered position of the head. So not making those turns of the neck from a forward position, but from as natural of a alignment of the head atop the spine as possible. So you can always just check in with yourself before you move. If you started with me on the left, the next time you turn your neck to the right, let that be the last turn. And once again, sense into your neck. Maybe move around a little bit if you need to, but don't like wiggle your head, your neck, or anything like that. You can move your shoulders, you can move your legs, but keep your neck nice and steady and sturdy. Excuse me. And whenever you feel ready to continue on, I invite you to bring your fingertips to that spot above the clavicles, like we did when we when we work with our lymphatic system, which of course all these neck movements do beautifully, right? As you might recall. And then kind of stabilize your collarbones with your fingers here. So you can kind of let the fingers rest here and let the arms be heavy, and you'll feel a little bit of a tension on the skin in the neck here. And then gently turn the head to the right and forward, and then turn it to the left and draw it back. So you're kind of drawing a diagonal with your head here, or a little half circle, at the same time that you are stabilizing the collarbones. I'm going to just do this a couple more times, turning the head to the right and stretching forward like we did at the very beginning, and then turning to the left and drawing the head back. And then come to center. You can release your hands for a moment, release the shoulder girdle, maybe taking a few shoulder circles. The danger of working with the neck is that sometimes we get stiff in the jaws or braced in the shoulders, so it's nice to notice that. Exactly, you could even do some lion's breath. Yep, beautiful. I love seeing that on the screen. Or even walk the jaw side to side. Maybe even make a few of those chicken arm circles, whatever suits you right now. Just leaving the neck region alone, making those movements around it and just letting the neck move naturally. And then whenever you're ready to go to the other side, bring your hands back to the collarbones. Find that little bit of stretch and stabilization of the collarbones. And then we have to do this on the other side. So now you're turning the head to the left and drawing it forward. And then to the right to draw it back. It's almost like you're looking over your right shoulder a little bit. Left and forward. And right and back. In your own rhythm, your own range of motion. Like, don't do anything that's uncomfortable here. These should feel like nice releases in the neck, not like great big challenges. And after the next time you've turned to the right and drawn back, let that be your last time. Release the hands. And then very deliberately, maybe switch your seated position. Maybe if you've been doing this seated, I'm showing it seated because you can see me better, but you could do this standing. You could be on a chair, but just let yourself move naturally for a moment. Again, not any sort of jerky movements in the neck region. Just let the neck kind of settle in and take care of any tension that's creeping into the face or into the shoulders. This is why you really want to be comfortable in your body, either on a chair, on the ground, or standing, whatever feels good to you. And then, grab something here for my legs. And then from here, this one is the most complicated one. We did this next one once before. It's a really beautiful reset of the joint between your topmost vertebra and your skull. It sounds a little complicated to get there, but it's actually not that complicated once you know what it is. We'll start with our natural, neutral head atop the spine, tuck, draw back. And then we'll start by turning the head to the left. We've already done that today, so that feels familiar. But you're not going to go as far as you normally do. You're just going to go to a comfortable, maybe 80% rotation. Then you're going to drop the right ear slightly toward the earth. So you're kind of side bending the neck here a little bit. And now you're going to very gently just nod the head up and down. Yes. So you're turned to the side, you're side bent, and now you're flexing and extending. You're bringing all of the motions of this cervical spine into the same movement. And that's a beautiful, beautiful reset. You can pay a lot to have a chiropractor do that to you, and it may not actually keep, but if you learn how to do this yourself, you're mobilizing a lot of the small muscles in the neck. And that's enough, so you can stop the nodding, then bring the head upright, and then turn the head forward. And just be here for a moment before you even think about the other side, and just let that settle in. And then when you feel ready, tuck, draw back, then turn the head to the right from that neutral position to about 80% of effort. Slightly side bend the head, so left ear slightly toward the ground. This is a tiny, tiny movement. You may not even see this on the outside. And then very gently just begin to nod the head up and down a few rounds, maybe 8 to 10 nods or so. Nice and slow. These are very slow and deliberate movements in the neck. And they're always within a range of motion that's comfortable for you. You have a lot of blood vessels and nerves in the neck, so neck movements need to be gentle, and ideally they create themselves. They're not passive. You're not using your hands to turn the head or anything like that. You're using the power of the muscles in the neck. If you're still nodding, you can stop nodding now. Then lift the head out of the side bend before you think about turning it. And then turn it forward. And take a moment to let this settle in. Sometimes you can feel a tiny bit dizzy after movements like this. So give yourself the time to really settle in. And let yourself appreciate, again, that subtlety, right, of these movements. There's one more set of movements, and it's basically that same neck slide that we started with in the beginning, where we put the chin forward and then back in this forward-backward plane of motion. We're now going to do that from a turned head. So you're going to turn to the right. You're going to stick your neck out. And then you're going to bring it back to center and come forward. Then to the left, stick the neck out, come back to center, and come forward. You could do a few on one side, or you can switch each time. Yogi's choice. Another variation for this is if you do them one at a time, that at the center, you do the forward and backward slide at the center as well. So there are lots of ways to vary this up. All right. How's everybody doing? this sitting okay? Yeah, good, good. So that was a lot of complexity for the neck today. I hope that that maybe brought a little bit of release into your neck. If you have a sense of your usual range of motion, you could turn your head side to side and just get a sense of, is there more ease or not? I mean, don't expect anything, right? Just notice for a moment if anything has shifted for you. And then we will end with those same chicken arm rotations that we did in the beginning. So start with a few sort of balanced side to side, so there's not a lot of motion along the spine. This is more of a release now for the shoulders in case they braced. And then when you feel ready, you could do the circles. And this time you could kind of do double duty with your two arms. Is a little bit more complicated. Or you can do it like we did it at the beginning, where you are doing one side at a time. The nice thing about the one side at a time is that then your eyes can focus on an elbow. You can still do that if you move both arms. I'm not coordinated enough to do that. I can only let my eyes be glued to one of my elbows if I keep the other one steady. So that's how I'm going to do it. But you can try and see what's possible for you. And if you're doing one side at a time, then after a few rounds, just switch it up. And then maybe just some intuitive arm movement, maybe some big circles in front for a release. Maybe you add a little bit of flexion and extension, just whatever you notice your spine needs after the work on the neck. Again, sometimes, when you're new to working with the neck, you can brace a little bit through the rest of the body. So just always take care to check in with yourself and then allow yourself to become a little bit more limber, but don't ever do like big shakes with the neck. That's really not great for the neck. So the wiggle and shakes, they're in the limbs. They're not in the neck. Okay, so don't do that. The neck is moved actively, not passively. All right, so from that, I invite you now to pick your position for a bit of a closing centering. So you could be seated, you could lie on your back, whatever serves you in this moment. Time flew by. Neck movements take time, they take patience. So I hope that was a good use of your time for you today. A little different than usually. And then whenever you are ready, find your shape for your closing meditation and invite yourself to settle in. Maybe you very gently take another scan of your body, just as you did at the beginning of class. Or maybe you do it in a different way, but let yourself sense into the body yet again, meeting sensation, meeting the experience of your body from the inside out. And letting be what is. Being with whatever experience is emerging from your body with an open heart and a gentle mind. And then invite your body to release any tension that it can release in this moment. Surrendering itself to the power of gravity. Releasing into the earth. And then very gently scan your breath. Noticing your inhalations and exhalations, perhaps as they pulse and vibrate through your body. Inviting the breath to be gentle and subtle and through the nose. As you then surrender it to the flow of life force that moves through all of us. Allowing the breath to breathe itself. And then very gently check in once again with your mind, maybe starting with your mind state. Perhaps noticing any thoughts or stories or feelings. Neither chasing them away nor getting stuck on them. Letting them drift by like clouds in the sky. And then entrust them to your deeper inner wisdom that will bring you back to what needs coming back to later. As you invite the mind to simply release and let go in this moment. And with deep appreciation for your deeper inner wisdom and the seed of joy that is present within you, I invite you into about a minute of silence until my voice brings you back. And very, very gently begin to reawaken your senses to your outer and inner world. Perhaps noticing the sounds around you, the air on your skin, the texture of your clothing, perhaps sensing inward to notice if your body wants to move or stretch or wiggle in some small way, or if it would prefer simply to remain in quietude. And then sensing into your breath, knowing that you're inhaling as air is traveling into the body. Knowing that you're exhaling as breath is leaving the body. And if you're lying on the earth and you would like to close the practice in a seat, this would be a lovely time to begin to ponder that journey and then perhaps to make that journey to a seat. And if you're already in a seat, this might be a nice time to begin to bring the hands to the heart if that suits you. And perhaps to bow your head to your heart. Taking yet again a moment to tune inward, this time to notice if there is a takeaway from class today, something meaningful, something important, something interesting, something that resonated for you, something that you would like to seal into your tissues, infuse into your breath, and perhaps settle into your mind, into your memory. And notice if that takeaway perhaps merges with your intention that you had set at the beginning of class to create a dedication of the merit from your time on the mat today. A gentle wish for a greater purpose that serves you and your community. And if such a dedication arises for you, you might choose to draw it into your own heart with your next breath in. And then to silently send it outward into your community of choice with your next breath out. And as always, thank you all so much. It's truly a joy, a privilege, an honor to spend these Thursday mornings with you.